know what we did good and what we did bad, just how we can get better, and just at this point, whenever my number is called, just stay ready.
Hey, Kyra, Christian Clark here. I mean, in this very limited sample size, it doesn't seem like getting into the paint and getting inside has been a problem for you. I mean, as far as just like, finishing around the rim or decision making around the rim, are you liking, what you're able to do right now? Do you feel like there are things you need to be doing differently? Just how are you feeling about that?
I feel like when I get in the paint, making the right reads has been good. I just had to say right now, I'm not finishing ball as well. Like last night, I had a couple easy ones that I missed. So today I came in and just worked on my finishing, just getting in the groove, getting it ready for whenever I get back in the game. So when it happens, it becomes second nature, and I know that I worked on it. So when it goes in, just knowing that putting the repetition in and working after practice or before practice is paying off.
Hey, Kyra, what's been the biggest adjustment for you defensively going from the college game to the pro game, and how do you think you're coming along in that area?
I had to say just not relaxing off the ball, making sure that I don't get flat-footed, keeping my feet moving. So when I have to make a rotation, I'm there and closing out and being able to close out and contain the ball or take away the shot as well.
It's Andrew one more time. I know it's that you've talked about Bled kind of taking you under his wing. He's another smaller guard who can get in the lane. What have you kind of learned from him, or what's maybe the biggest thing I think you've learned from him so far in terms of adjusting to the NBA?
Just how sometimes he get in the lane and he's patient. He use extra dribbles to find something, or when he get in the lane and he about to shoot a layup, he kind of gets his defender off balance and he pauses and he makes a layup or he makes the right pass. So really, what I learned from the most is just his patience when he gets in the lane and when he coming off a ball screen and making sure he observe everything and making the right read.
How much do you guys talk about the little things of basketball, of you trying to kind of pick his brain?
We talk every day. I just had to sit by him and film. Yeah, locker right beside each other. So we talk all the time about that type of stuff. So
All right, Kyra, thank you. Appreciate it.
appreciate
The
it.
issues.
Well, I mean, first of all, as is usually the case for me when I watch film, it wasn't it wasn't as bad as I thought. I mean, some of it was as simple as missing shots. I mean, we got a couple of really good looks at threes that we didn't knock down. But with that said, I thought there were three possessions there at key times where we really forced the issue instead of moving the ball freely and hitting the open man, where guys were taking it upon themselves to try to force their way to the basket and score instead of moving the ball. And so, we looked at film of all that today, and, one of the problems we've had a little bit, I think, is in games, we will have these stretches where we're really playing well. And then when we miss a couple of shots, we get away from playing the way that was allowing us to play well. And that happened last night. Like, we had a good stretch where we were really playing well and the ball was moving freely. And that's easy when the ball's going in. But when you miss a few, you still have to understand we're creating quality shots. We're going to live with those. And when we missed a few, then we started forcing the issue. And I thought in the last 4 minutes, last 5 minutes, maybe had three bad possessions. Now, preceding that, we went into a little bit of a drought where we were getting pretty good shots and not knocking them down. Zoe had a wide open three. Josh had an open three. Kyra had an open pull up, where we were getting good shots. It doesn't go down. BI missed a pull up. Okay. Those are quality shots for us. And, we've got to live with them, and we've got to learn to live with them to the point that we stay with it and keep creating good shots with the confidence that enough of them will go down rather than saying, geez, we've missed a few. I'm going to force my way in between 3 or 4 guys, try to draw a foul or whatever it is. And so I thought we lost our commitment to the way we wanted to play.
Yeah, and conversely, after watching the film, how did you feel about the defense, especially in the third quarter? It seemed like you guys were starting to make some progress before De'Aaron Fox, kind of went off in the fourth quarter. Just how did you feel about the defense after watching the film?
Well, I thought our defense, particularly in our rotations and pick and roll, was really, really good. I mean, we forced 20 turnovers. A lot of them were on our rotations off of pick and rolls. They're hitting their big guys on short rolls. We're rotating to them. They were turning the ball over. I thought our effort in that area was really, really good. I thought our help at times was not as good as it needed to be, just in individual situations in transition or otherwise, just one-on-one. We were a count late at times, and obviously, De'Aaron Fox is tough, man. I mean, he's quick as heck, and you've got to be there early. And I thought we broke down there a little bit, but overall, against the top 10 offensive team coming in, our defense was much better last night. And look, I mean, Harrison Barnes, he hit 3 tough threes on us. Like, short of fouling the guy, there wasn't a whole lot else we could do. Our defense was good. It can't all be, in terms of evaluating it, it can't all be about the result. I thought our defensive effort and execution last night were good, and we did lose Fox a little bit at the end, but overall a good defensive performance, I thought.
Hey, Coach, it's Andrew from ESPN. Just looking back, not just at last night, but in fourth quarters in general this year, Brandon's numbers are down, shooting percentages. I think his assists are down in the clutch minutes. Do you think he's forcing it too much in the fourth, trying to be the guy and taking more? I know he's good at making tough shots. He does that for 3 quarters. Do you think he's pressing a little in the fourth quarter?
A little bit, yes. I think that he wants to be the guy in that situation, and I think he gets in those situations and feels a responsibility to our team. Really, really wants to win badly and takes it upon himself to try to do that. And so, we watched film today, he and Zion and I, and, we can see Zion did the same thing at the end. So there were back-to-back possessions there where, Brandon tried to get through traffic, turned the ball over, and then Zion took a really, really difficult shot, going across the lane, back-to-back possessions where there were simple plays to be made that those guys have been making consistently over the last 3 or 4 games. But I think at that time of the game, they're feeling this great responsibility to get the job done and to win it for us, instead of just continuing to make the right play, and whatever comes up is what you live with. And so, we've got to try to change that mindset a little bit. They've both done a great job creating shots for us, and they just need to continue it for 48 minutes and be willing to live with the result of that.
Hey, Coach, Christian Clark here again. We saw Kyra in early rotation minutes last night. Are you at the point yet where you feel confident saying he's going to be a rotation piece for the foreseeable future? Are we still at the point where it's kind of a game by game matchup dependent thing?
Well, we're probably somewhere in between those two things, Christian, to be honest. I think we all want him to play. Now, does that mean every single night? Does it mean 20 minutes a game? Does it mean 12 minutes a game? I can't give you a definitive on that yet, but I do think, I want him to play. Coaching staff wants him to play. Teammates want him to play. We want him in there. I liked his decisions last night. I liked his pace. I liked his defense. You know, as happens with guys, he had trouble getting the ball in the basket last night, but I liked his decisions. I liked what he was doing. I've said to you guys before that there's really nothing to not like about him as a player. So we just need him to get older and bigger, and we probably can't do much of that by tomorrow. So, um, you know, but we like him.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, the process of trying to convince guys, hey, we're going through the right process, even if we are missing these shots. That you need to continue doing what we're doing to get those shots. Just what's that battle been like with such a young team to convince them, hey, here are the areas where we're going in the right direction, even if it feels like we're losing games right now. Here are the things we're doing correct to keep going in that direction. I guess what's that like with such a young group when it feels like
Yeah,
losing games?
that's a great. Listen, the hardest thing about losing is to try to maintain belief in what you're doing and in the way you want to play because you're not getting the tangible rewards of that. So you play a Milwaukee game and you attack inside and you throw it out and you make 21 threes. Well, everybody goes, yeah, that's the way we need to play. And then when the ball's not going down, you deviate from that a little bit, and it's hard. It's hard in everything. It's not just the offense, I mean, it's everything you're doing. It's tough when you're not getting the results you want to keep everybody on the same page, heading forward and believing in what you're doing. It's not an easy thing, but we show them the good times in games every day, as well as the things we can be corrected. And I think our guys are hanging in there pretty well and battling and fighting through it. And we've just got to believe that if we keep doing that, that things will come. And I've seen it. I've seen it throughout my career change with teams. So both on my own teams and with other people. I mean, was it 5 years ago, maybe, where Miami started the year 11-30, and then in the second half went 30-11. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have that kind of turnaround all the time, but if you keep plugging away and believe in things, it is amazing how that at some point, sometimes things just click and start to take off. And so we're fighting through a really tough time right now. Um, it has been difficult, and we haven't played as well as we would like. And we're in this, like everybody is playing all these games. We're in the middle of 6 and 9 days and the whole thing. And just to hang in there and to keep coming at it is a challenge. But I think our guys will continue to do that.
Hey, coach, just one more. You mentioned watching film with just with Bi and Zion. How often do you talk with just those two about the pressures of being the two go-to guys, uh, or just being the two leaders on the court for this team?
Well, since we got back off of that road trip, um, we've met after every game, the three of us, and watched film. Um, and so not specifically talking about the pressures, but yeah, about how defenses are going to play them and load up to them and their responsibility. And I do it with the two of them together because I think when you're building around two guys, their relationship has to start to, evolve and develop where they can hold each other accountable. I think their relationship in how, they communicate with each other and how they play with each other is very important for our organization going forward. And so that's why we do it together. And it's both about the offense and the defense. I mean, they've got to, and they're trying. They really are trying. They've got to take on more defensive responsibility too. We point out to them, whether it's LeBron James and Anthony Davis or Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, or even young guys like, Jason Tatum and, Jaylen Brown, that the best teams, their best players are two-way guys. I mean, there's a lot of people in this league who can put up numbers, but the winning teams, those guys are two-way guys. And so these guys need to improve, as does our whole team, but they need to improve defensively, take on that responsibility. And then defenses are going to load up to them, and they have to use their remarkable abilities to get the best shot for our team, not necessarily for themselves, but the best shots for the team. And I think if you're really watching and going back watching film, it broke down a little bit late last night, but for the most part, both of those guys have been making a really concerted effort to attack, but to make the right play. And sometimes that's the shot, and sometimes it's the pass. But that's the stuff. We look at their defense and we look at those decisions on a daily basis. They're both fully committed to winning, both all about the team, and they're both really trying to get better. So, we just all have to stay at it and try to help each other get through this time.
All right. Thank you very much for
You and Kyra have played in your time together on the court this year?
I feel like we are starting to come together a little bit better, talking to each other off the court and then kind of on the court. He sees the game really well, and he's very smart, underrated, I feel. So playing off him is kind of easy, and just kind of talking to him about little things I might see in the game for in the future, just whatever happens in the flow of the moment and going with it. I feel like it's really easy to play with him, and I do like playing with him.
And Nickeil, Christian Clark here. Stan just talked a little bit about, I guess, the importance of keeping your belief, even when the results might not be going away. If you just do the right things over time, eventually the results might change. I mean, how tough of it or how important is it just to keep, I guess, that mental belief when things are going like they're going?
No, it's huge. It's everything. Personally, for me being a Christian, to walk by faith and not by sight. You know what I mean? So it's you can't get tired of doing good, and it says that in the Bible. Always talks about if you continue to do good and stay on that course of doing good, and eventually you reap what you sow. And so, if we're putting in good work and continually working hard, it'll come to light eventually. It has to. That's just everything in life. Moments like these are temporary. So we'll be able to play and find it to where we're winning games. And then down the line, we'll forget about the tough times that we had on these skids and these stretches of couldn't really figure it out.
Yeah, going back to Kyra, I guess, do you kind of have those conversations with him? Because in a lot of ways, you were in his shoes last year, right? As a rookie, fighting for minutes. Obviously, it was a whole different world back then. But do you kind of talk to him about that? What it's like to be a rookie, fighting for your minutes on a young team?
For sure. Just trying to make sure sometimes that he's good, everything's good, and that he knows it can always be worse. To just be thankful for that, for the moment he's in, and to continue to work because he's good, and he knows that he's just gotta stay ready because it's gonna come around eventually, and everyone's gonna get a chance.
It's Jim from Pelicans.com. Obviously, Willie gave you guys a big spark last night coming off the bench, and he had sat for a while and then was able to contribute, which is something that you can relate to, I know. From what you've seen of him in practices and playing with him and against him, what do you think has made him a good rebounder? What do you think are some of the reasons why he's able to do that so well?
Physicality, he's very strong. He works his butt off. I mean, I couldn't have been any happier for him. The time that I've seen him put into the game, and then every day, every off day, he's in the gym. He's always trying to get something out of it. And I know he's confident in his ability, which also helps.
And when you're confident, you're able to do a lot of things on the court. And so it proved, came to light when he always told me, like, he knows when he gets his chance, he's going to do good. And like, that's something I admire. It's his confidence in self and how he approaches every day, because he knew, like, when that moment come, he was like, to everyone's surprise, 13-11, but to him, he's like, I could have done more. Like, that's just who he is, and it just shows to his character.
Yeah, and my question was kind of going in that direction. It seemed like you and Willie have gotten super cool, in this first year. And when we saw y'all play Charlotte, it seemed like that whole team came over and talked to him. Just what's it been like, just having him as a teammate? What does he kind of bring to the locker room as that guy?
Man, there's no way you can not smile around Billy. Like, just the person he is, the energy he brings. There's just no way. Like, it's literally impossible. He's a great guy. One of the best teammates I've had, and I've had a lot of great teammates. And so, like, just his personality, his humor, and just who he is. And, like, he's a real brother. Like, he really looks out for his teammates, and he's really going to have your back and be there for you, which goes to show why the entire team from Charlotte wanted to go up to him, because of his character, just who he is. Like, if there's someone in this world who doesn't like him, I'm surprised.
All right. Appreciate it, Nickeil. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.